This is my dad's Grand Marquis, and I had to put some spark plugs in it about 4,000 or 5,000 miles ago because the number 3 spark plug blew out of its hole and destroyed the threads, and I had to go in there and tap the threads and all and fix that, and put an insert in there. And it's been running just fine up until about a week ago, whenever we drove back from the town up the road. And so I decided that I would go ahead and figure out why suddenly this thing started skipping. And so here we were driving along.
You're cruising about 45, and the engine's loaded. It bucks and jumps. But even with all of that, it's still getting 26.3 miles to the gallon. We got enough of a misfire now where we got a check engine light flashing on us. That's pretty good. We'll have us a nice little diagnostic trouble code we can pull on this one. Turns out it shows to be on cylinder number 5. Alright, I could clear these if I wanted to, but what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go back and I think I'm going to do a power balance test. Harbor Freight scan tool that I grabbed a while back, which I really like this little thing. It's got special functions. It's got power balance. Power balance is really cool, and you can basically see the misfire in real time. A lot of people that are watching this video will know that. See, I've got real time, and I'm going to drop this thing. I'm going to lock the park brake, and I'm going to put this thing in reverse. Number 5. That's number 5 right there. I got one misfire on cylinder number 5, just briefly. Okay, now I got it really bad when I was driving the other day. It was flashing the check engine light and it was a dead skip and all that. It has to get really hot before it'll do that. Top, this is this flare drive thing. We'll get that off of there. There's our 4.6 shroud. Alright, I'm using a different adapter than I used before. This one here just rests on top of the coil. And this is what I'm getting. You notice I got a multi-strike there, which is pretty cool. Alright, I can compare that. Look at this one here. Isn't it interesting? This one here, how tall it is. Okay, that's number 1. Doesn't look all that unusual. We got 3 little hits. Number 2 looks about like it should be. And then there's number 3 that looks a little peculiar, but nothing like what I'm looking for. There's number 4. And here comes number 5. Wow, look at that. Ugly. Alright, the number 5 is the one that threw me the code, and it's one that's given me the screwball pattern. Alright, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jerk that one out of there, and I'm going to take this nice new Motorcraft one here and put it in there. I'm going to unplug this, and I'm going to spin that little 7mm retainer bolt out of there. And I'm going to unseat that harness, or pull it out of the way rather. See if I can get that spark plug to, that boot to let go. Alright, that's the offending coil right there. It was in here about 4,000 or 5,000 miles ago. But I'm going to go ahead and spin this one out just to see what it looks like. Follow up with my piece of hose. Screw it out of there. Alright. I don't see anything particularly troubling about that spark plug there, and I'm going to scratch really good there. And I'm getting 5,500 ohms. What I'm doing here is measuring the center electrode resistance. Okay, this one here is just fine. Nothing wrong. I'm going to go ahead and take my piece of hose and start it back in there. Throwing it down in the hole and then putting your socket on it is a bad idea. You're not going to cross thread it with a hose to the point that you mess anything up. And you can look down in there and tell that it started okay. All right, time to get the tool. 15 foot-pounds is what Delco used to call for. They had it on the box, on their spark plug box. So anyway, now I put the new coil in there. Right here, I'll put this coil back in there. That little brass insert that this, and if I had any sense, I would have took this hose off, but I think I can work around it. But that little brass insert is delicate, so you got to be careful not to mess it up by cross-threading this little bolt here. Put this by finger, screw it in there as far as I can, then I'll follow up with my little tool here, and buzz it. See, barely let it snap. All right, and then I plug that back in. Now we're going to do a test. Putting that there. Look at the pattern. Beautiful. It's exactly what we need. I'm going to call this one fixed. Got to clear the code, and we're going to take it home.